All right. Well, I wanted to talk about the music that I use on these little videos. And I want to just first and foremost say I rent it, which is to say that I pay a company called Epidemic Sound to be able to use knockoff hits, is what I call them. So I download all this music, and what it is, it's not royalty free. That's not what this music is. It's better than royalty free music, but obviously not as good as your name brand music, right? You know, I love to be using real Motown and Shy Lights and Richie Valens and what have you in these workouts, and whatever other aggressive playlist you like, Pantera and what have you. But the issue is that you have to pay those people money to use your music, and YouTube doesn't want to do that. So all music is obviously, and it's music that I'm using for the content. So you rent it. You pay a house to be able to use their music that somebody creates that's almost as good, but it's great background music. And I think that's, again, I'm learning how to do videos, like get a workflow going, put music, put it in my editor, do my thing, and be able to put out a product in a decent amount of time. And that only takes practice. So again, music is being part of all of this. Even when I would probably make my talking head videos, when I start to talk about my photography, I will put music in the background that's good. If you make a short, YouTube will allow you to use the good, ZZ Top and what have you. So you can, if you make a short, less than, I think right now the shorts are actually less than a minute. You can't use any, if your short is any longer than that, it won't allow you to use copyrighted music. But if it's a minute or less, you can use copyrighted music. So if you do a short and you upload it, you can do it on your phone. I don't think you could do it on the website. So if it's leave a comment if you can. But on your phone you can do it. Now you can't play the Tres Hombres ZZ Top album while you're working out here or while I'm doing this workout video. What I can do is, again, I rent music. I pay a company that is in charge of handing out the royalties to the people that make the music, and I'm able to add a little dimension to my videos here, which I enjoy. I don't mind. It's super cheap to me. They have different packages depending on what you want to do, but I think I pay right around $15 a month for it, which is totally fair in my opinion, to have somewhat decent music. And if you guys have been following along, I've been putting all kinds of music on it, from grunge to Motown. The Shy Lights and things are coming up, and a bunch of other things that I like doing. Glam rock they have a bunch of other genres and stuff too. And I say this because I want to put it out there, because there's all of these, the algorithm is messed up on my channel. If you would look up my channel and you pull it up, you'd think I'd be one of these red pill misogynist sort of guys, but that's not why I'm watching that sort of content. And also the algorithm for these Reddit/AI stories that are coming up that are basically all the same sort of thing. The reason I watch them is because, and I've mentioned this before, I am just impressed by the consistency and the output of them. There's a workflow that's being done. They're being put out every single day. Someone is stealing a bunch of content from other platforms, from, let's just say in this specific case, a lot of women who are just upset at the way their life is going, for this, that, and the other, and the channel grabs all that content, makes it their own, and has commentary on them, and usually derogatory commentary. There's nothing uplifting about, and there's no empathy about the women having a tough time. Let's just say most of the time is going through a divorce, and how they like showing a lot of just people at their worst. And the problem with that is that, of course, it doesn't send out a good message. it's not really helpful. All it is just at the very bits is a critique on somebody's life that you don't have a right to make. People live their life and they make mistakes and do whatever it is. The other thing, though, is that, it's impressive, again, at the format, the commentary, the editing, the content. Everything is just streamlined to where they're allowed to make these 15 to 20 minute videos every day, uploading them and making money from other people's content. And now, again, I've mentioned this before, is one of the things that I'm hopeful for is that the monetary payout is divided evenly among every single person whose content is on her show. But it's not. The thing that is normally in the channel that is not monetized for views, and again, I'm just speaking out my ass here because I don't know exactly how this works, unless there's somebody out there that is really just enjoys making this type of content that doesn't care about making money. Like how I'm doing here, I don't care about making money, obviously, because it's pretty mundane. My workout is there, and it's just me lifting little weights at this point. But I think that some of these, why would you make a channel like that unless your heart is really filled with hate or you want to make money from it? And they get the tens of thousands of views. So the idea that I have, or my point was that there's no advertising. There's nothing there that it says this channel is brought to you by X, Y, and Z. I don't read the comments, so I don't know if there's any sort of link to another site that sells you something, or it's not even like a get help or man help program or anything like that. So I'm a little confused as to how they make their money, or how someone has enough time to actually curate this. And I think it's like a team of people. It has to be, in order to consistently do this, or someone who doesn't have anything better to do than to work 8 to 10 hours a day finding content, putting it together, and uploading it in a very consistent manner, which would, to me, imply that that's a full-time job. So in that sense, if they're making money from this, albeit probably, well, actually, I can't even imagine how much money that they're making, but if they are making money from these videos, that money needs to be dispersed among every single person that's involved in making that video, including all the content that they steal. So again, I know I mentioned this before, but it's just crazy to me how these videos are still in existence. And all I can think about is the conspiracy theory that I thought before, that somehow these channels feed into each other some way, somehow, that it's just like this crazy sort of toxic relationship that they have involved with one another about this. Anyway, all that for me to just let you know that my music is paid for what it's worth. I'm not sitting here trying to steal music, trying to steal content from somebody else. And it's what it is. I like the music. I like the way that it's going. And again, it helps me edit the program and give me a workflow on how it's done. That's it's another thing, and I mentioned this before, and I'll mention it again. It's another thing that this working out thing has opened up for me as far as a learning curve, or as far as learning processes, to where, okay, I'm learning. At the very least, I'm learning how my body reacts to certain exercises now, and I'm learning how to edit, and I'm seeing things in the algorithm, if you will, that I didn't see before. And it's kind of, surreal in that sense, to where, like, man, how do they do that and either make money or not care or have everything? How is AI that good to where it prepares all those videos? I mean, I can't imagine that at one point. I can imagine that at one point AI will be so good, and you just tell it, all right, look at these clips, give me 10 clips of the day for these like this from all platforms. Let's put it together and add some commentary that I come up with and make this video. And then bam, you're done with the AI. Will make the video and process it for you. And I don't know, inside of 5, 10, 15 minutes, Anyway, again, other things that I think about. I like my music, and I'll just leave it at that. The music is brought to you by Epidemic Sounds. Again, this is not sponsored by them. I'm not getting paid by them. This is not an advertising. I'm just letting you know where I get the music from and where I rent it from. I call it renting, but it's a subscription program that allows you to use what would otherwise be copyrighted music. At one point, you can get a license from the major singer-songwriter unions, I guess, or houses or publishing houses, and can run your own radio station online. I just found that out. Shoot, I might do that. Who knows? It doesn't seem like it's that expensive, but we'll see. All right, thanks for listening. I'll talk to you guys soon. Enjoy your youth.